Hi, I'm Alex McCord for RumorFix.com discussing episode 8 of the 5th season of The Real Housewives of New York City. So first of all, this week, let's discuss real-world meetings versus reality TV. Often designers, art directors, what have you, are reluctant to go on reality shows because they're not used to it. They're not sure what to do and say since they're not a regular cast member, and they don't want to look bad and they don't want their business to look bad. There are also different expectations between the cast who have more experience and the creatives who are coming on for one day. We saw this with Carol and her jewelry designer friend. I have to say, Carol made a season 1 mistake. I know Carol wanted to go after Luann. I get it. But really, she shouldn't have. The thing is, with reality TV, everybody judges it versus shows like Sex and the City that have Patricia Field and a full-on army of a costume department. In reality TV, you have to get all your own clothes, and nobody, unless you are married to Bill Gates, can afford that many changes of clothing. So, in New York City, one of the fashion capitals of the world, many women on reality TV or broadcasting or any other type of show that doesn't have a costume department will work with designers to borrow and return items and wear them on the show. That's all Luann was doing. And you know I'm not necessarily Luann's champion, but I have to give her a break for this. It has been said in the press in the past that Luann does tend to go after other people's designers, but I don't even think that was happening here. She ran into the designer, they had some shots of tequila, and they talked about her wearing the clothes. That's it. The end. Moving on. Let's talk about Sonia and Heather meeting with the art director. Now, in this case, this is a heavy-hitting art director who's dropping in to put himself on the show, hopefully get some recognition for that, and to do a favor for Heather, to do a logo consultation, to do a little brainstorming session. And Sonia, on the other hand, needs somebody to do her full-on packaging design, and that's what she was expecting. I think probably Sonia had one set of expectations, the art director had another. Nobody's going to do that kind of work for free. It just doesn't happen. And don't forget, none of these creative people who drop in are being paid to be on the show. Moving right along, let's talk about the wine tasting. Oh, holy Pinot. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's always a risk to promote your business on the show, but there's no other reason to go on a reality show like this but to promote your business. You have to do it. Think about Bethany with Skinny Girl. Think about Teresa with her fabulous things. Ramona promotes her Pinot. Yes, she does. She has promoted it ever since she came out with it, and she promotes it all the time. Sometimes I do think that people get upset with her over promoting, but she doesn't promote any more than anybody else. Everybody's got to do it. Now, at this wine tasting, it wasn't just Luann and Jacques. They had a lot of help. They had help from invisible friends, I'm sure. They had help from the sommelier who was leading the witness. Remember telling her, you don't have to like it. It's okay if you don't like it. When you're in a situation like that, anytime you're shooting a scene for a show, it's an emotional hotbed. Your sense of reason can often kind of go out the window. So she was led by the sommelier. At least she saved herself. She got every single essence note that the sommelier put under her nose. It was a mean, dirty, underhanded trick. Mario caught it and called it out. Aviva called it out later. I don't know of anybody who would think that was okay. The only positive thing I have to say about that wine tasting was that the sommelier did Champagne Sabrage better than that guy in the Housewives of DC. So let's talk about Miami versus London. It's so much better of a trip already. It's a fun-loving cast. Nobody's in Miami for a business trip. Everyone's there to have fun, to let their hair down. You've got the family element that works so well for New Jersey, but it's not dark. It's happy. It's not sad. Nobody's backstabbing. Everybody's talking about sex. We have a potential spin-off of the real grandparents of New York City. I absolutely cannot wait to see what happens with Sonia and Aviva's father. Last for this week, we'll move on to what I really think of cast members, and we'll talk about Ramona this week. She got screwed this episode. I felt so badly for her. She knows her stuff. She really does. And it's good Pinot. I've had a lot of it. And I've always had a soft spot for Ramona. And I finally figured it out last night when I was making my list of who I'd talk about this week. She reminds me of a younger version of one of my favorite aunts, who I don't see nearly enough. She has a huge heart. Both Ramona and my aunt have offended me 100 times and probably will 100 times again, but we always make up because it comes from a good place. That's it for this week's episode of The Real Housewives of New York City. I'm Alex McCord for RumourFix.com.